Patrick Steenberge with Global Football here with my buddy Brad Spencer. Brad, congratulations.
Thanks.
What's that, 3 out of 5 national championships?
Yeah.
And you still talk to me.
I do. Yeah.
Good deal. Tell me what is like, a couple secrets of the success you've had at North Central lately.
Yeah, I mean, for us, I think everything is going to go back to the foundation of our program, which is relationships and being able to build and keep relationships like this one. And, for us, being able to create shared experiences for our players, you get to semifinal games, national championship games, and you're always going to have All-American quarterbacks and linemen and running backs and receivers on the field. And to me, you've got to be able to have a team that can draw back on a little bit more than just scheme and talent. And for us, we try and insert love and relationships. And we joke about us and still hanging out. It's been since 2006.
Right.
I think it was our first trip. And as a head coach in the last few years, I think when we're on these trips, or just really any experience that you can have off the field or outside of the weight room, outside the locker room, that's where we find ourselves. I think gaining momentum, gaining culture is when our players are together and when our players are doing things other than football. And so as a head coach, you're going to look for different experiences that create that. But if you're going to go try and win a national title solely on talent, solely on scheme, I think you're going to have a hard time. I think any business leader, any head football coach is going to tell you that you want to capitalize on the people that you have. I truly believe that you win with people. And so, being in the college football industry, it's a big industry, but it's a small industry. Everybody knows everybody. So to be able to have good friends like you, Patrick, that we can look to use, with our team, and really be to me, you're very much a part of our program, a part of our team. Similar to the other folks that are involved in some way, shape, or form with our guys. But I know we came off being in Ireland this summer in 2024, and so many times after we traveled with you, we joked about it in May.
Right.
But our first conference title in 2006 was after traveling with you in June to Italy. Our first national title was in 2019 after traveling to Prague.
Right.
And then, this national title was couldn't travel in 22, but in 24 now being able to travel again, we won the national title again. Kind of joking about it, trying to speak it into existence in May.
Yeah.
Now that it's happened, but I think there's, I don't think there's coincidence in that. I think there's correlation. I think that just shows there's something to that relationship piece. And so for us, using global football has no doubt been a piece of that. That's why we continue to go back.
Yeah.
We'll go back in 3 years in 2027. So hopefully there's some positive in between there. But I think just how do you build relationship with your players? We have such a small time to have those guys. And only 4 years or 5 years. You want to try and give them as much ammunition as you can, so to speak. So to have something like what you do and be able to give guys an experience outside their comfort zone. We talk a lot about being comfortable, being uncomfortable. So for guys getting on a plane the first time, going overseas the first time, eating different food, seeing different sports is a way for our guys to grow. That's where you grow, is when you're challenged. Certainly getting on a plane, playing an Irish national football team has its challenges.
You talk about experiences a lot, and when people ask me, what do we do with global football? That's funny because that's what I always say. We provide, kind of lifelong experiences for young men, and to do it as a team. So, but this experience, a lot of guys wouldn't think, well, traveling together, it's a cool thing, but how does that relate to winning football games?
Right, and I'll be honest, as an assistant, I think there was times where I thought traveling was just that, traveling.
Yeah.
Hey, this is cool. They see Italy, or they see Switzerland, or they see Spain. But as a head coach, I was struck, this time by being able to sit back, see your players, and it's as if you can almost see momentum starting. You can see relationships becoming deeper. You're giving them opportunities by traveling. Number one, they're not using their phones as much. Number two, they're not around their family or their, roommates all the time. They're around guys on their team that they know, but they might be rooming with a guy that they're not around all the time. They're on the opposite side of the ball. They're different ages. So you're forcing them into situations. Force sounds wrong, but you're providing them opportunity to be in situations where they're getting to know people that they maybe haven't known as well. So, you have this crossover happening of players that maybe necessarily wouldn't be in a room with each other as much as they're having to be in a room while traveling. And so that naturally is going to grow the bond on your team. It multiplies it. Whereas, maybe at home, it's a little bit more offense, defense, or, receivers here, D tackles there. When you have guys going on these trips, they might be playing new positions. You might let guys play both ways.
Right.
You might experience with some guys like we have at different positions to see, hey, is this kid maybe a better running back than he is a safety, or is this kid maybe a better receiver than he is DB or nickel? So they're getting exposed to new teammates in a more intimate way that they otherwise wouldn't be. So again, those are just opportunities for them to grow as players, as teammates, as people. And then on top of that, you're doing it in a whole different country, different languages, different street signs, different sports, different stores, different restaurants, different, we're going to castles. You're in towns that are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old. They're learning about things that they didn't even know existed. Our guys are playing, Irish hurling in the yard of a castle on a Friday afternoon with, a bunch of 12 and, 13 and 14.
Which was a memorable thing from this past year.
Yeah, and they're teaching them American football, and all of a sudden our guys are tackling these kids, and these kids are tackling our guys and our coaches. Amongst hundreds of other students that are just sitting there watching. And so you see that, and as a head coach, you step back and you're kind of like, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
This is what the value is. It's not about getting extra practices even. It's not even about playing another game, which those things are all phenomenal. It's the players having an opportunity to be experiencing things that you can't experience if you're sitting at home. You can't experience in a weight room. You can't experience on a practice field. Those opportunities aren't there. So to me, those are the ways that I feel like you're gaining culture within your program that maybe you can't outside of the X's and O's, or are different than X's and O's.
How about among different kids? Do you see some of your quieter kids come out, some of your louder kids maybe go in a bit, or how do you see those?
Yeah,
changes?
I think because you're putting them in new spots, I think you're going to see different sides of young men. Maybe some of the leaders are able to step back, so to speak, and then you have players that haven't been in leadership roles that are now in a football situation given leadership roles because maybe the starter isn't there, or starter isn't playing, or you have a kid at a different position if you want. So it gives them just an opportunity to grow and come across obstacles or come across the situations where they wouldn't otherwise when they're with the team back home. One of the things I feel like in growing leaders is you want to try and prevent guys from falling into roles that maybe they think they're given. In our program, our faith coordinator talks with our guys a lot about who are you, who do you want to be, and where are you from? And a lot of times that where are you from can become your story. You let people that you don't even know or trust or that really know you tell you, hey, you're this, hey, you're a short linebacker, hey, you're a slow running back, hey, you're too slow as an offensive lineman, because one person tells you that at some age, all of a sudden that's what you start hearing, your brain starts believing it. And so when you get into this situation that now all of a sudden you're traveling, and maybe the starter or the team leader, is maybe not there, or maybe he's, we're just in a different scenario where guys are allowed to relax, or guys are allowed to kind of step out. And all of a sudden you find out something about a young man that you never knew, because he's given that opportunity. He's not listening to what he has to be. As much as a coach, as you try and motivate guys, you try and help them see how great they are, those kids bring past with them.
Sure.
From, we're all a product of our surrounding, we're all a product of where we came from. So these kids will bring that with them to North Central. And as a coach, you try and perhaps break that, because I want kids to play above themselves. I want them to play for their teammates. I want them to play where their feet are, play that play. If you make a mistake, great, let's coach it and let's move on. Let's be the best version of ourselves every single day, every single play. And in order to do that, you have to continually be refining who you are. And as a coach, you want to continually be coaching them into that. But it's a lot easier said than done.
Sure.
It's a lot easier said than done to try and break years and years and years of believing or something, and then get them here and help them understand, hey, you're so much more than this. You're so much more. And when you can take a young person, whether they're an 18-year-old or a transfer, and help them see what they really are, or see what they could be, they get that sparkle in their eye, all of a sudden they're alive. And that's why we get a lot of the transfers that we get. They sit in my office with their parents, and their parents, say, hey, the playing time's one thing, but what I really want to see is my son himself again. I really want to see him excited about football again. And that's where we kind of say, hey, this is the perfect place for you then, right? Because whether you're an All-American quarterback or whether you're a fourth-string punter, we're going to value you. We're going to give you opportunities to be a part of a great culture, and be part of a culture where you're loved and the relationships matter. But if you just say it, you never do anything off the football field, well, then you're just blowing smoke up these, towards these folks. So, for us to be able to have experiences like this that legitimately solidify what we're about, which is relationships and loving each other, I feel like that's the proof, in the pudding. And then I can tell them, hey, just watch how we play. Turn on ESPN, watch how we play, and you're going to see it.
Tell me, among the trips you've done, and I was, we were talking earlier about this one and that one, is there some moment when you just look back and go, wow, that was really a good deal?
I would say every trip has moments like that. The last one in Ireland in 24, certainly seeing our guys interact with young folks in Ireland was really special. That was unique. You could go back to Prague or Italy or Switzerland, and there's always something. It might be a young man who in the game just plays outstanding. Maybe he hasn't had opportunities back home, and all of a sudden really steps up. Or you have a young man, I can think of games that, maybe was a senior, never had an opportunity to play a whole lot, but we get him in the game in Spain, and all of a sudden he scores a touchdown. I remember a young man in Switzerland that he was a backup wide receiver. We got over to the game, he had a chance to play a bunch, he had a couple of touchdowns, and you guys named him the player of the game, and it was everything.
So, you're going to keep it going, right? You want to keep winning, right?
Yeah.
You want to keep winning championships. What would you tell other coaches who are trying to get where you get, whether it's, with global football or whatever? What would be kind of your encouragement to young coaches?
Just do it. Our first trip, we decided in December of 2005, we traveled June 2006, and there was challenges everywhere. Cost, how are you going to get everybody signed up, where are we going to go? And you guys put everything together.
put the schedule together, you got us the cost, and we went about fundraising, we went about getting guys signed up, and we did it. We didn't, maybe that's not great because you want all the lead time, but we got, the honest truth is decide what's important to you,